Gotta set this up right. We got a new mic. Ha ha, improving, going up somewhere. Hello, 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 hello. Can you hear me now? This video is going to be kind of all over the place. We have a lot of things to do to freshen up this motor, freshen up the engine bay so we can mate them together. I don't think I've touched this in a very long time. I mean, I had the motor out recently, but I didn't actually touch the motor and stuff. I was just trying to fix the trans and fix the little problems so I could get it to run. But now that it runs, I need to clean it up, make it look a little better. Me and Hasm are here, and we're trying, we're trying to figure out what color to paint the valve covers. They might be painted tonight, they might be painted tomorrow. It's going to be regardless in the same video. But we're going to paint the valve covers, clean up the engine bay. I like my flat black intake. I will not paint that. I'm gonna go with a little brake parts cleaner and just go over everything. And I'm debating if I want to change the front main cover gasket. I'll have to look at it from underneath and see how it is. I do have to change the rear one and then install the new parts that you guys saw in the previous video. And we're also going to paint the subframe and the engine bay again, hopefully if we have enough time. We did get more new parts, again, more stuff to do, and it's pretty exciting, but it sucks because it adds up. Every little thing adds up, and we have like 3 weeks to get to Black Friday, and I already paid for the event, so I have to be there. Like, this is it. This is how I set myself for a deadline. You guys should do that too.
Actually, 2 weeks. 2 weeks?
What do you mean 2 weeks? What do you mean? What?
It's November 2nd, and Black Friday is the 16th.
Oh, you're right. That's half a month. 2 weeks. And I have surgery on Tuesday for my wisdom teeth, so I'll be out for a couple of days then. So that's going to suck. I have 2 weekends then, basically, like this weekend and next, to get all this painted, put together, and in there. And it sounds easy, but it's really not, because it's usually 2 hands doing everything. Today, Hasm's going to be helping me, and maybe another day some other friends are going to come, but you know, you can't count on that. It's definitely, I have a lot to do. So, well, I hope you guys enjoy and watch this video and the next and the next and the next and the next. I really hope this mic thing works out. Sometimes I can see that it records and then it doesn't know audio, but there's audio. Here are the new parts. Pretty exciting. I don't know which one's which, but it's oil pressure, oil temperature, which I've never had in my life because I am dumb and I've been drifting for over 10 years, and water temp, and oil cooler, and oil cooler fan, and water temp housing, I guess, sensor housing that goes in between your hose. I'll show you in a second. So I threw away my old water pump when I replaced this one, but my old water pump temp sensor was tapped into this flat spot right here of it, and that's where it was. But I don't want to drill a hole in this one and tap it, because as it happened at Grid Life, I replaced the water pump and I didn't have a hole and I didn't have any tapping and stuff. I was doing it all on track, so that was really bad. What we're going to do now is install this piece in the middle of this hose right there. Boop. And then the sensor will go there and it'll read what's coming out of the motor. Me, Angel, and Hasm just decided the colors. It was really hard because we've been talking about colors for probably like 20-30 minutes. But basically the valve covers are gonna go wrinkle black. Yes, you said wrinkle black. Satin black now. What? Satin black. The bash bar and the stuff that was previously gold is gonna go white because my wheels are white, and we're gonna break things off with satin black and wrinkle black, and gloss black. That's what it is. So I don't really know. I'm over paint and looking nice. I just want to drive, but I want it to look okay, you know. It's dirty and nasty, and I want to drive, but I'm gonna do something, you know, to make it look a little better. But yeah. So Angel was like, "Your mirrors are gloss too." I was like, "No, bro, they're satin. What do you mean?" But he's like, "But this one's gloss. What do you mean?" And I was like, But bro, it's satin. What do you mean? So what happened is I hit the wall on that side and I bought a new mirror and that one's gloss, but that one's satin. So we gotta figure out what color we're gonna do the mirrors. Would you like to show everybody the new parts? Open them up. These right here, what do you mean? The new parts. Just open one box at a time. I feel like Hasm's having a hard time here. Leave the gauge. Let me see the sensor. Because like I said, we're not going to be able to see the gauge. That's pretty cool. That's some nice looking wire. None of this stuff is sponsored, by the way. It should be, but it's not. This is exactly what I was looking for. The actual sensor. My previous sensor is right here. That's where the stock location for the LS sensors are. And I have a manual, like oil goes inside. And I don't want to do that anymore. I want electrical. So that's why I bought that other one. I just need to figure out what thread pitch that is and put it on the motor. That's going to be pretty simple. I'm super stoked on that. Easy install. What's this one?
This one is oil temperature.
Same thing, gauge is exactly the same, can't even see it. Oil temperature sensor, it's pretty nice. And that's gonna go in our block, oil blocked, that I showed you guys in the last video. I really hope it's the right thread pitch, or we can find an adapter. So this is where I'm assuming where the oil temperature sensor is gonna go, because it's before the thermostat that we spoke about, so I know actual oil temp and not cooler temp. And then the sensor that we bought, oh man, tight, perfect. It's like it was made to be. Maybe it was. People design things properly, and it's tapered, so it wants to get harder the more you go. It's pretty perfect. The sensor just sticks out barely. Awesome. Which one's that?
Water temp.
Water temp type. Alright, the gauge looks exactly the same. They're all smoked black, so you can't see anything. They all look like that until we connect the power and ground to it and the sensor unit. The water temp sensor looks almost identical to the oil temp, and I bet you it's probably the same. Yeah, I mean, it's just the fluid, right?
Yeah, probably.
And you go ahead and put it in the other piece that we were talking about. And boom, we have water temp. That's what it looks like on the inside. Boom, beautiful. I love when it all just like works together. You buy the sensor with the right thread pitch for the block and the right sensor for the water temp, because it's all brand new, it's all purchased and thought out, rather than back in the day when I was throwing this motor in this car and every company wanted way too much money for a swap kit. You had to make it yourself and you had to figure stuff out, and you bought a sensor and it was like for an American car or something, and then you had to buy a piece or get it from the junkyard or tap it or just make it. And now you can just go boop boop boop, spend your money, and it all works out. You just gotta install it, bolt on stuff. Right, the fun part. I can't believe I have never had an oil cooler in my race cars. I don't know, I just, you know, water temp was enough, and I guess I never had to hot lap like Florida or anywhere it didn't have hot lapping. They were all scared of liability and stuff. Actually, CFRC had hot lapping, I'm lying, but it was so slow speed and quick. So what is that? So this is the fan. It actually looks beefier than I thought it would be. It's pretty thick. It said online it was 1500 CFM. Never believe that. You gotta believe the voltage it draws. It says it's like 12.5 amps. So I'm gonna test that and make sure that it's good. It's actually drawing a good amount, and if it is, then it's a good powerful fan. I will use it, and then we'll go from there. Let's see the cooler. Ooh. Ooh, that's some pretty good packaging. Nice. That's perfect. I believe it is a 30 row with AN10 fittings, so should be nice and easy to install. eBay at its finest. I'm about to put some heater coils on the transmission mount because I stripped 2 of the nuts under there, and I've been told this is the best thing to do. So that's gonna suck, but I gotta do it. If you've never done a heater coil before, it's basically like this. You drill, tap, insert the heater coil into the little tool, use the tool to put it in there, and then when it's done, it's done. Pull the tool out, and then you can put it in your bolt and your new thread. The scary part about it is when you drill, you cannot drill like this, all crooked. Otherwise the thread won't go in straight and it'll just pull right back out. So it needs to be done proper, and you need to use the right drill bit and the right tap, and you got to take your time with it. If you've ever tapped anything, you know you got to add oil, go a little bit forward, then back, then a little bit forward, then back. Like, it's very meticulous, and you have to have patience, which I am short of. But we gotta do it. So I'm about to drill. Hazem's here again. He was here last night. He's hanging out, and let's do this. That is what a heater coil looks like after being put in the thread. So we ran into a little bit of trouble. We just noticed this arm is cracked all the way across. We have to figure out if it's better to replace it with another arm, or if we can even find one locally, and how much it's gonna cost, or if I could get a friend of mine, Alberto or Justin or anybody, to weld a bead just down that way. It would probably hold just fine. I'll just have to figure out which one's easier to proceed. We're not professionals, it's just a drift car, but hasn't painted that. Megan's painting the subframe, and the number one thing you gotta remember, the most important thing, is to clean it well. So we've been cleaning this. I've been cleaning this since like 5 o'clock, and then she started cleaning when she got here. Megan's a professional painter now, supposedly. She already like messed up and sprayed water all over the other paint. So if you don't like the way things are coming out,
blame me.
Blame Megan, like always. Blame Megan on everything, not me. Right, that's drying, drying.
Marco, you know what this thing's for?
What?
That's for?
Yeah, this is fire suppression system for the nitrous.
Oh.
This is drying. Still working on a bunch of stuff, but that's gonna be the end of it for tonight. We're gonna do a couple more coats on the parts and bring them inside, and then tomorrow we should be ready to start putting things back together. Installing the new parts and cleaning up a little bit more, but the dirty stuff was, you know how it is, the suspension components on the undercarriage of the car. We still have to clean the engine bay, but that's going to be fairly easy. I think I've decided I'm not going to paint the whole engine bay anymore. It's in pretty decent condition, the paint. It's just dirty. So we're going to clean it and then make a decision from then. If it needs paint for rust protection, for, you know, I don't really care how it looks. I sincerely don't. I want it to look decent, but it's a drift car. I'm gonna go beat it up, and because it is so exposed in the front, it just rocks, dirt, smoke from the previous cars, like everything from the cars in front of you when you're tandeming just goes in there. And I don't clean it usually. I'm not that kind of person, so I just like driving, and I'm gonna clean it as much as I can. And if the paint is good, we're gonna maybe paint the frame rails, because I know those are bad, but the upper part of the pipes and all that is pretty clean. So we're just gonna clean it, and that's it. This is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Hazem. Thank you, Megan. Thank you, Angel. And hope to see you watching on the next one. So thank you. Bye.